What's going on, YouTube? How you doing? My name is Isaiah Hooks, but now that you're tuned into the Three-Way Radio Podcast, you guys can call me Three-Way Zay. That's the nickname of almost all my co-hosts on the show. We all go by the mantra of Three-Way. Then we add our names at the after parts. So Three-Way Zay, Three-Way Hez, Three-Way Derek, stuff like that. So welcome in, guys. Welcome in. How you guys doing today? It's early in the morning. It's 7:58 a.m. So I'm just trying to get a little pregame in before the NFL games come on today at 12 o'clock. We've got a kind of a alright schedule this week. It's nothing too crazy. It's nothing too too crazy to be excited about is what I'm trying to say. I mean, yeah, I can see the slate right here. I mean, you got the Bengals and the Ravens. That's going to be a good one today. You got the revenge game between Jared Goff going against the Los Angeles Rams today. Good Sunday nighter, I believe. I believe it's going to be a good Sunday nighter between the Colts and the 49ers tonight. But you also got the Tennessee Titans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Can't forget about that one because honestly, I don't know which way that one can go, but the way it's looking right now, I'm gonna let you guys know off top. Actually, I'm gonna wait until we get later into this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off right now, man. And it's a big question because honestly, this is going to be a question if this team doesn't live up to the standards that we have set for them since based off their past success. I mean, this will be the question for this team, and it's with the teams I was just talking about, the two teams, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tennessee Titans. But I'm speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, and the question that I have for you guys is: will people start to question whether Patrick Mahomes is the league's best quarterback? Will people start to question whether the Chiefs personnel needs to be moved around? Will people start to question whether the Chiefs scheme needs to be configured a little bit? Because it seems to me that teams are finally starting to figure out a way to, stop the scheme of the Kansas City Chiefs. And one of my co-hosts had brought a point up to me about how people are just cross-manning the Chiefs, especially because, the Chiefs run a lot of crossing routes. With all the speed that they have, I mean, how could you blame them? But once teams start to really figure that out over a course of how long has Mahomes been a quarterback now? 4 seasons now. I mean, teams will start to figure you out. I mean, McVay had to go through a change over there in LA with the Rams, with teams figuring out his 11 personnel and stacking the box against him, putting 5 defensive linemen on the line and just going with their size. And McVay obviously had to adjust to that. So the Chiefs, Andy Reid, the Chiefs are going to have to. They're going to have to come to a tough decision sometime. It's a long season, so they could change the way they scheme things throughout the season. But speaking that it's 17 games now, but I just can't see Andy Reid changing anything really during the season this season. So especially with the the way the defense has been playing for the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs was just at least a good, decent defense the past 2 years before this year. I mean, I really don't know. The drop off really happened in the secondary. I mean, Mike Hughes is a starting cornerback, and that's really a drop off between him and Breland. You know what I mean? So the Chiefs are going to have to figure that out, and especially with the way Daniel Sorensen has been playing. I mean, he hasn't been playing great nor good this season, really, for the Chiefs. And you can tell by the way Tyrann Mathieu looks at him when it's a blown coverage. I mean, it's happened 2+ times this season with Sorensen. And that secondary of the Kansas City Chiefs is just other than Tyrann Mathieu, it just doesn't look good. And that's really the weak part of their defense. I mean, honestly, but once Chris Jones is obviously, that D line is obviously the strongest part of the defense, I believe. I mean, that's strong. The defensive line can obviously generate pressure. They can, when Chris Jones gets there, he can put a halt to the run by just a little bit. Unless it's like a running back like they're facing today, Derrick Henry. I don't see nobody putting a halt to Derrick Henry anytime soon. He might break the single season record for rushing yards. This is what it's looking like right now, to me at least. But once Chris Jones obviously gets back, the run game, the run defense for the Chiefs will obviously be stronger than it once was when he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, this team, the personnel with this team will be enemy. We all know Andy Reid. It's highly likely he's coming back next season. I don't think he's going to retire anytime soon. But with the enemy, Spagnuolo, I just wonder if there's going to be any coaching changes to the coordinator staff, because like I said, the defense hasn't been looking too hot. The offense looks shaky at times with the Chiefs. So it's been questions that over the past 3 or 4 years, several years or so, that the enemy is going to take another coaching job somewhere else. So I think it's about that time where the enemy is almost about to get up out of Kansas City and go blaze his own path with another team, maybe as a head coach or in college football. I mean, it's the USC job is still there, so the enemy is plenty of places, plenty of options the enemy can take to get out of KC. But if that happens, but I just don't know. I mean, if the Chiefs missed the playoffs, because they just didn't look good in the first half to me against the Washington football team. It was just they looked like a below average football team, if I'm really being honest with you. And that's not what you want to hear from the Kansas City Chiefs, knowing the success they previously had in these past couple seasons. I mean, going to 2 straight Super Bowls, winning one, losing one, and usually that's the thing with Super Bowl losers. They usually have like an off season, the very next season, and in either they're always injured, so injuries play a big part in them having a bad record the following season. Speaking of the Super Bowl loser, or they just fall off. I mean, that's what it's looking like the Kansas City Chiefs is doing. I don't think they're just falling off. I just don't think they'll be as high of a playoff seed as we think. I think they'll probably be a low playoff seed, like a 6 or 7, or maybe they'll miss the playoffs. That's how I believe the Kansas City Chiefs season will go. And unless they, come out and just blow out the Tennessee Titans today, I just don't see that changing this season. I will expect for the Kansas City Chiefs to change my mind, they'll have to reel off. And it's possible. They can do it. They did it plenty of times before. But they'll have to, for me, to consider them a threat. Like, again, in the AFC. Because the way the AFC is going, everybody's getting better in the AFC, man. Everybody. Every team's getting better in the AFC. All these young teams. Justin Herbert's arrived. Lamar Jackson's getting better. He's getting more comfortable in the pocket. So it's teams like that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to worry about. And they dropped both of the games they played against the Chargers and the Ravens this season. So those are 2 losses that's on the Chiefs' schedule already. So, hey, it's not looking good in Kansas City for all the Kansas City fans that's out there that's watching this video. I'm really concerned with you guys, man, because I expected you guys to, get back to the AFC Championship this year. Probably face the Buffalo Bills or somebody like that. But the way it's looking, I just don't even see the Kansas City Chiefs making it out the wild card. If they make it to the wild card, you know what I mean? But the wide receiver core is also not safe, man. I mean, yeah, they brought in Josh Gordon, but Josh Gordon, I mean, Mecole Hardman, he's cool, but it's just like, I believe the Chiefs probably gonna need like another like star receiver. I mean, maybe they try to get on Michael Thomas or somebody like that, man. But it's just Tyreek Hill can't be your number 1 wide receiver right now. Is what I'm trying to say. I just can't see him. I mean, yes, he's still obviously capable of being a number 1 wide receiver. But if you really want to win and get back to the number 1 seed in the stage you were at before you got to this low point, I mean, y'all 3-3, but if y'all want to get back to being the Kansas City Chiefs on dominant on offense, I believe they need another star receiver, man, and you can get Odell properly, somebody like that, man. But they need somebody else just to open up this passing game to me, and yeah, it's just not looking good, man. So I'm really hoping the Kansas City Chiefs get back on track, and It's gonna start today in Tennessee, man. Okay, moving on to the next topic. Lamar Jackson, man, he's looking more comfortable in that pocket, ain't he? I don't know if it was just me, but yeah, he had a bad game against the Chargers passing the football, but he was passing them joints from the pocket, so yeah, I can't say he wasn't looking comfortable in that pocket. That's all I'm trying to say. So he's gonna have them weeks. I mean, every quarterback has those weeks where they struggle in the pocket passing, but Lamar Jackson looks way more comfortable than people make it seem that Lamar Jackson can't pass, he can't do this, he can't do that. But from what I'm seeing, he looks like he's a pass first quarterback now. Like he wants to pass the football from the pocket now. Like he feels comfortable. He knows he can do it now. And he had the best game of probably the season as a quarterback. I mean, on Monday night against the Indianapolis Colts, he passed for 37 for 43 with 443 yards and 4 touchdowns. Or was it 483 yards? Something like that. It was something crazy. But he was the only quarterback ever to have a completion percentage of 85 plus, I believe, and have 400 plus yards that game. I mean, and passed, 40 times? I mean, come on, man. I mean, I got to start giving Lamar credit where it's due. Because to me, he's looking like he's the league's best quarterback right now. I mean, every other quarterback that we believe to be better than Lamar Jackson has better passing options, has better, wide receivers to complement the passing game. And Lamar Jackson is just out there, he's going with what he has right now. I mean, Marquise is doing his thing this season. Don't get it twisted. Mark Andrews is also back. He also is on a tear right now. But if you talk about all the other teams with Mahomes, Kelsey, or Herbert, Allen, and Williams, and Cook, and people like that, there's great pass catchers that we all know to be great. But the Ravens have either they don't have a bottom wide receiver core. Don't get me wrong on that, but it's either they're starting receivers or receivers are always hurt, or they just don't produce certain games in the Ravens running game. And that's sometimes that's due to Lamar Jackson passing the ball terribly, but other times, I would say probably majority of the times, Lamar Jackson's pass catchers don't show up for him. And yeah, so I can honestly say Lamar Jackson is doing more with less. So, and he has the Ravens the top seed in the NFC right now. I mean, the way they dismantled the Chargers and the way that defense played, and you wouldn't even think an injured defense like the Ravens would play like that. But they played excellent and great, and Lamar Jackson did enough on the offensive end to put up 34 points. And that's not too shabby for somebody who passed for 1 touchdown and 2 picks. And 189 yards. I mean, he played well running the ball, but he did enough to get them that win, man. That's all I'm trying to say. And also the Chargers also didn't show up to play. But yeah, if Lamar continues to feel discomfort, we're gonna have to start questioning if he's really the league's best quarterback at this moment. I wouldn't just say he's. Actually, I would say he probably is. He is the best quarterback at this moment, and like I just said, because he's doing more with less. Now we have to see if he continues in the playoffs. That's the big question, because if he can go up to Buffalo, if Buffalo might come to them the way the Ravens are looking now, Buffalo might have to come to Baltimore. The Chargers might have to come to Baltimore, Cleveland, whoever it may be. The AFC might run through Baltimore this year. The way they're playing, I mean, so it's going to be a big test for Baltimore today, a division rival, the Cincinnati Bengals coming into town. So if the Ravens can pull off this W today, it's going to look like the AFC is going to run through Baltimore. So Lamar Jackson, man, he might take his MVP crown back. I mean, but it's a lot of competitors for the MVP crown this year. You got the Henrys of the world. You got the Herberts of the world. You got the Kyler Murrays of the world. You got the Tom Brady's of the world. So it's a lot of people that's out for that crown also. So you have to keep a lookout for that. But right now, man, Lamar Jackson's looking like the league's best quarterback, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon, man. I can't see this Ravens. First and foremost, the Ravens run offense is one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. I'm just going to say it right now. I haven't seen an offense just run the football like this from my young 20-year-old eyes. I haven't seen no football team run the football as consistently and as well consistently as the Baltimore Ravens, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they're a walking 150 plus rushing football team. You know what I'm saying? Like 150 plus yard football team running the football. I mean, it's just like they're gonna get 150 plus yards, no matter who they playing. I mean, you just have to account for it because Lamar Jackson, you have to account for his speed, and then their running backs are. Is it the O line in Baltimore? Is that what it is? Because they brought in a couple practice squad players, and they still running the ball like it's J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram. He's in Houston now, but Mark Ingram out there. You know what I mean? But Justice Hill, people like that. But bring in Le'Veon Bell. I mean, Le'Veon Bell is obviously one of the more capable backs to come in and help the running game. But was Tyson Williams? He came in. He's doing his thing. So it's people like that. It's like, whoa, is it really the O line or these players are actually good? I think it's a bit of both. So, but yeah, this Ravens team, and especially with the way Lamar, getting back to my point, Lamar is looking in the pocket. The more comfortable he looks, the more dangerous the Baltimore Ravens are going to be, man. And as a Ram fans, we have to see them in Week 17, the last game of the season. I'm kind of nervous. That's because the last time we played Lamar, he obviously put on the onslaught. We lost by 46-6. It felt like, but I don't even remember the score. It was that bad. I don't want to remember the score. All I'm looking for is to Week 17. So we're gonna see you, Lamar. I'm still nervous, but we're gonna see you. But moving on to that next topic, man. They're not playing this week, but I wanted to touch base on what happened to the Chargers. Like, what happened to the Chargers, man? 6 points? 6 points. 6 points. Y'all one of the top teams in the AFC. The previous week, y'all put up 40 plus points in an absolute shootout with the Cleveland Browns to come out and put up a dud against the Baltimore Ravens. Man, I was so disappointed. And the fact that I picked the Chargers to win this game leaves me even more disappointed. So I need whatever y'all gonna do this bye week. I need to clean it up on offense, man. Because what I seen, that was terrible. That was terrible. I mean, y'all just didn't know what y'all wanted to do on offense that day. I mean, give credit to the Baltimore defense. They was locking up. They was getting to the QB. They was locking up. So they was forcing turnovers. But to be that great of an offense, I'm gonna need more than 6 points, G. Especially against it was a lot of playoff implications on the line that week against that Baltimore team, and y'all just came out and put up a dud. I mean, at least put up a fight. You know what I'm saying? Because down the line, y'all might have to go back to Baltimore. That's what I'm saying. The chances at the 1 seed now are very slim. Now. I mean, the Raiders are still even looking good. I mean, they came back. I thought the Raiders would struggle with the loss of John Gruden, throughout that whole week. I mean, I thought they would struggle against the Broncos, but the Raiders came out and was still looking good. I mean, so the Chargers is not going to be easy sledding to that 1 seed. I mean, obviously, I think it's going to be between the Chargers and the Raiders for the 1 seed. I mean, unless the Kansas City Chiefs, like I say, come back and pull off a win streak or something like that. But in that AFC West, man, I still believe the top two teams that's going to be the top two teams in their respective division is going to be the Chargers and the Raiders, and they're going to fight for that 1 seed. And if the Chargers can play like they did last week against the Baltimore Ravens, next week against whoever their opponent may be, I don't know if y'all going to get the 1 seed even in y'all division, let alone the whole AFC conference. But they have to clean up whatever was going on last week on offense, because that was absolutely embarrassing to watch. So, yeah, man. We're going to move on to that next topic, though. Minnesota. About time. I was hyping out up to my co-host before the season started. And finally, y'all pulled off a winning streak, and I'm proud to see that, because that's too talented of a team to not go on winning streaks like this. Like, that offensive side of the football is crazy. Like, I don't see how anybody can just stop the Minnesota Vikings. Honestly, when they're fully healthy, come on.